Welcome back to the NAO show, boys and girls. We are back. I don't know if you've noticed, but I got a little something for you. We'll get into that in a second. We got a trade, and we're going to do some mock rookie dynasty drafts for the NAO. Mark, hello, sir.
Hello, sir.
Do you see what I have?
I see what you have.
Would you like to explain to our fantastic listeners slash viewers slash losers what I have in my hands?
Yeah, that is the NAO Pro Bowl Captain's Trophy. As if we didn't have enough going on in this league. we splurged for a captain's trophy for the Pro Bowl. So something a little extra fun, a little extra to play for. The winning captain, the Pro Bowl, will get this trophy and have it for the year.
So. Yeah, we told everyone back in the Pro Bowl that Mark and I had a gift to the league. This is the gift. Yeah, we thought the Pro Bowl was really cool, so we came up with a trophy.
It's a pretty nice trophy. It's big enough to be a champion's trophy, but of course Ian had to go full phallic on us and get that monstrosity that he got the first year. So that one,
he can keep dreaming. All right, don't be mean to him. We're never mean to that guy on this show.
Yeah, it's a nice trophy. Yeah, just a little extra something for the league. Since this league is so awesome, we gotta keep it up, man.
We have two trophies, and Ian likes to buy himself jewelry.
Yeah, so the winning captain every year of the Pro Bowl will have that trophy. We'll figure out some way to ship it around. The Champions Trophy, the shipping is paid by the last place finisher. We'll figure out something on this one.
I'll send it to another team, another manager on my team. That's fine. When we win again next year, because you guys are too stupid to play the best wide receiver on your guys' team, Jamar Chase. But that's fine. We'll just win again. It's okay.
We don't have time to get into last year's Pro Bowl, okay?
I wouldn't want to talk about that either. It's fine.
We got a show to do. I don't want to talk about that Pro Bowl ever again.
So moving on.
Yeah.
To the trade.
Line. Take my line. Yeah, let's talk about a trade. We got one trade.
We got one trade.
This time last year, what do we have? We were already doing our second trade show. You remember we had we
had a full dedicated show to just trades, and then we did another one.
yeah, we had two of them, man. It was crazy. But we got one measly little trade, hardly worth mentioning, but we will mention it anyway. Quit polishing here. All right, here we go. We had a trade between the Pooh Crew and yours truly, McJammer. So Pooh Crew received Donovan Peoples-Jones and pick 22 in the 2022 draft. That's kind of a good omen. 22 and 22. Man, he might do all right there. All right. McJammer receives Trey Sermon, pick 32 in the 22 draft, and pick 34 in the 22 draft. Sean, you said you didn't have a lot to say about this one. I mean, come on, this is a good trade right here.
I mean,
give you some props.
Give you props?
Yeah.
Well, if anybody's going to get props, it's going to be you. It's not going to be that other guy. Well, I do like Donovan Peoples-Jones, but I will say that Ian, the other guy, that other manager that will not ever be named, has dogged on him. But look at this guy giving up his draft Sermon, pick 11 last year.
I'm gonna say right at the 1-2 turn somewhere in there.
And he gave him up for a shot in the dark on a wide receiver and a pick. I mean, he didn't have any picks, so I guess that's a positive. But
yeah. I mean, pick 22. He might still be able to do a little something there. It's not when you have nothing in draft capital. Get that out of there, man. Get that out of the shop. Moving on from the trophy. You're gonna be doing that all night, aren't you?
Yes, I will.
Gonna bug the shit out of me. Yeah. When you have no draft capital, pick 22 probably look pretty good. DPJ, It's a decent dart throw, I think. I, I I traded for him for the same reason because I thought it might be a good dart throw. I don't, Cooper coming there um, with Landry leaving is sort of a wash. If Landry leaves, Landry still hasn't signed. Kind of
Yeah.
wonder if he might make his way back in there or not. But yeah, DPJ is probably not a bad dart throw there for me. Pretty obvious. I was just trying to get Sermon to back up Mitchell. I tried
Yeah.
to trade I tried to trade him Mitchell in a bigger deal, and he didn't want to go for the bigger deal, so we pared it down to this. And I was like, all right, I'll get Sermon, and I'll have those two. I don't know if one's a handcuff to the other. I don't know what that situation is going to be.
Well,
You never
no
know.
one knows.
No, in San Francisco, they've had last 5-6 years, they've had a different top running back each year. So, Mitchell may not be that guy. If Mitchell is the top one, it'll be the first time in several years that someone's repeated as their top running back. So,
Oh, I was gonna say that their top running back just asked to be traded, but I guess
yeah,
he'd be their second best running back.
yeah, I'm about tired of that. Debo is their top running back joke, especially now that I got Sermon and Mitchell. That's it. It's just a joke. It's not true, man. Yeah, I know. Twist the knife. So yeah, I mean, this wasn't much. I mean, it was kind of moving bench guys, and both betting on upside of each player.
What do you
You know,
think
I,
is the reasoning why everybody is kind of holding their cards right now?
well, I I don't, I've made some offers, and even one to you that you didn't want to take. I've tried to make some bigger moves and haven't had much luck, and nobody else has either. I really think that guys are waiting on the draft to see what they can do in the draft, and I think a lot of guys are probably happy where they are. You look at guys like FNG and Goofy, and we're going to talk about them here pretty soon with this mock draft, but why do they need to trade? They may, they're going to be picking their future guys. So
Yeah.
um, unless they were trading away those picks, there's not much they could do. So yeah, I just think it's a lot of guys that are happy with the roster, and other guys that are waiting to pick their picks, and there's just not a lot of activity right now.
I think you hit it right on the head with it being interesting. It's year 2 going into year 3. Uh I'd say what, like 80% of the managers have stayed for the 2 years, and they have gotten to where they like their lineups, or they're in a position to draft heavily, like Goofy, FNG, uh even the DBs have a couple picks in the first round.
Yeah, 3.
Um
Yeah.
where it's kind of like, I think I have this feeling that the league is kind of where you were at. Like, they've been throwing out feelers for trades, but everybody's like, well, I think all I need is 1 or 2 pieces, and I might be able to get that in the draft. Or I don't need a whole lot, so I don't want to spend a lot of my assets to get picks, because right now
Mhm.
you're going to spend a premium on a top end pick right now, and you might be giving up more than you're getting back.
Yeah.
So I think right now in the league, we've gotten to a point where it's going to be, we don't need a zillion things. We just need 1 or 2 particular things to get us into the next thing.
Yeah, I think Dylan's been the most active, and he's been doing win now moves, trading away
Yeah.
draft capital to get players. So he's basically got his roster set. He doesn't need to do a whole lot in his mind anyway. I think he thinks he's set with the moves that he's made. So yeah, but besides Dylan being really active for a little bit, then there hasn't been a lot going on. So
I
pretty
think it'll be
interesting.
fun once the draft gets completed and we get what our rookies are at, and we get a better feel of how they're going to be used and what have you. We might be able to see a lot of trades between the end of the draft and week 1, maybe, especially when there's a new whole batch of draft picks we can mess around with.
That's right. What is that going to be? Will the 25 drafts be in
Yeah,
there?
for the 25 draft.
5 picks. You probably can't wait. You probably
I
already
can't wait. I got 2 first-round picks.
you got designs on that 25, don't you? 25 first rounder. Yeah. Yeah, I think we'll see more activity really. After the draft, you got guys that people are going to come after that they weren't able to draft on their own. I think you might see some increased activity that way. And we're getting ready to talk about it. And there's some guys that don't have a lot of picks, some that don't have any picks in the first 2 rounds. So
Yeah.
some of those guys might they might be looking to try to get some youth in there and see what they can do. But yeah, I think we'll see more activity. But yeah,
I think that's a good landing spot where we can jump into our next segment. We did a mock draft, 100% computer picked. We did the first 2 rounds of the NAO rookie draft. We're going to go pick by pick, see how it's going to benefit the team, if it was a good pick or if it's not. And we'll just go with that. What do you think, Marky Mark?
Yeah, let's do it, man. You want me?
All right, let's get to this first pick.
All right. I guess I'll read. We never decided in pre-show how we were going to do this. So. All right, so
I'm the champ. All right, you do what I say.
Oh, you're going to get so much crap for that. All right.
Yeah, I know.
All right. Goofy Jace has pick number 1, and the computer picked Breece Hall.
Breece Hall. So right now, Goofy has. I just had it.
You talking about the picks? He's got 1, 2, and 9 in the first round.
Yeah, he has 1, 2, and 9 right now in his running back positions. He's got Aaron Jones and J.K. Dobbins. Hall is definitely going to be, regardless of where he goes, a start week 1. I think we both can agree on that. And there is potential that J.K. Dobbins starts on the pub list, so he might not even be able to play the first few weeks. So Breece Hall might be able to be thrown in there real quick.
Yeah, I think J.K. might be on the preseason pup, but there's a well, let's see. There's I say preseason. There's like a training camp. There's a preseason and then there's a training camp pup. So I think he'll be on the training camp one, but I think he should be ready to go.
Week
they may
1.
not. Yeah, they may not be playing him a lot in preseason. He may get some carries in a game just to get his feet wet again. But I think he'll be ready for beginning of season since his injury occurred in the preseason.
Well, I think it's gonna benefit him regardless. He can definitely be put into one of Goofy's flex spots, in my opinion.
Yeah. No, I just saying that I guess the point here is Breece Hall. If he goes to Breece Hall there, he probably is getting a starting running back.
Yeah, definitely.
We have to see the landing spot still. But,
of course, that makes a giant difference.
Yeah, but I think someone's going to try to get Breece Hall that's really needy, and they're going to probably play him right away because I think he's ready to roll in the NFL.
Yeah.
So that should be a good pick for him there. And I'd actually be surprised if that's not the first overall pick, but Goofy, just to mess with us, might pick him at number 2 instead of 1.
Just to be that guy. He does get pick 1 and 2, so he gets to pick whoever he wants.
Yeah.
Speaking of pick 2, Goofy in this mock draft gets Treylon Burks, wide receiver. So the first 2 picks are going to be running back, wide receiver, which I feel is definitely how he should probably go. Do the best in both positions and call it a day. I mean, that's pretty nice when you get to pick the top running back and top wide receiver.
Yeah. If Treylon is his number 1, I think a lot of people have him as their number 1. You could go with a handful of guys there and probably be okay, but Burks is getting a lot of attention right now, and a lot of comps to Deebo Samuel is that all-purpose guy. Swiss Army knife kind of guy.
I won't say it. I was gonna say, you mean the lead rusher in San Francisco?
Yeah. Didn't we just talk about that? I don't want to hear that anymore. uh, you got a short memory, man. Yeah, so that would be, you're right, that'd be a good start for him though. Get his, whoever his top running back and top receiver are, that'd be a good way to start the draft, I think. And he needs a little bit of a youth infusion, and that's a good way to get it right away there. All right, you want to move on to number 3 here?
Yeah, let's do pick 3.
Pick 3 goes to FNG with Garrett Wilson, wide receiver. So I was a little surprised that the computer didn't go with Walker there, but what do you think about Garrett Wilson?
Well, I think Garrett Wilson will go in this little 3 to 6 range. That's kind of where I have him. I think F&G has the biggest potential of throwing off the whole draft in these next 3 picks, because he gets pick 3, 4, and 5. Bam, 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 bam. He could pick anybody he wanted, but he could also really reach for a guy that he doesn't think is going to fall to him at 8, and maybe pick him up in this group and see what he gets at 8. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I think F&G can really throw off the whole first round, definitely. Maybe even into the early second round, get some guys falling if he reaches on a guy. But yeah. I think Wilson will go in this list range from 3 to 6.
Yeah, that's probably some people have Garrett Wilson as their number 1 receiver. That's what I say. There's a few guys there that, you know, depending on who you think is the number 1, there's a few of them there. If I was FNG, I think I would probably go best available there at 3, 4, 5, because number 8 is where you can do kind of a luxury pick. You know, he could pick a quarterback, he could pick a tight end or something if he wanted to. You know, he could definitely just, you know, 4, 5, 6 is a good place for. You know, it's probably a good running back in there, and a well, I'm sorry, 3, 4, 5. I said 4, 5, 6. 3, 4, 5. Definitely a place for running back and wide receivers, man. He could, man. I look at him like, man, I that's a nice position to be in right there. I wouldn't mind being right there. But Wilson, yeah, definitely is a good pick there, I think. Going on to his number 4 pick, they've got him getting Drake London, wide receiver out of USC. Some people have him as the number 1 wide receiver. You got any thoughts on Drake London?
I think if he takes both these guys, Wilson and London, he's not gonna, depending on where they fall, I think is gonna be the really deciding factors on where these guys ultimately end up in these first 2 rounds. I think they both, just going off talent wise, they both have amazing talent, and if used properly, could become at least flex plays right off the bat, potential for higher, you know, and that's exactly what FNG needs right now. He needs to be able to make all these picks in the first round and be able to use them immediately.
Yeah. And he should be able to, you know, depending on what happens. And you know, this is early. These guys haven't landed on their teams yet. That's coming pretty soon here, but
next week.
Yeah, that's right. But just pure talent, this is what we got right now. And Drake London has a lot of it. He's a true boundary X wide receiver in the NFL. And I've seen him going in a lot of mocks to the Jets at number 10 overall. Yeah. But that's the
Tell me your
guy.
feelings on that one there, Marky Mark.
You know, I'm still holding out some hope for Denzel Mims. Poor guy got drafted by the coaches that got fired. Kind
like 3 coaches ago.
Yeah, kind of the forgotten man there. It's a shame. If they get Drake London, I'd love him to just trade Mims away, let him be somebody on somebody else's team. So, but yeah, Drake London, man, that's for me. He's kind of crept up there. I think Evan did a mock, but had Drake London going at number 6, but I can see London going before that time now. He's kind of crept up there. Like I say, I think he's a lot of the NFL that the guys that love that old timey boundary X guy, that possession receiver, that
The Julio Joneses of the
50,
world.
50 ball guy. Yeah, yeah. I mean, they're gonna love this guy. So all right.
Coming in at number 5, we got Kenneth Walker. I've seen some mock drafts where he's going number 1 right off the board. It kind of depends on which running back you think is going to be the elite guy. I think you can't miss with Hall or Walker in this draft. But I think it's interesting to see in our draft that we have 2 guys making the first top 5 picks, and how it's going to differ then from other drafts that have 5 guys drafting. You know what I mean? Because I think if say Goofy was pick 1 and FNG was pick 2, we'd see running back. But with them combining their picks together, they're able to just kind of pick who they need.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, running backs go early in these, because it's hard to get a guy that you can, as you can get in your lineup every week, and it doesn't go very deep with the running back, so they usually go, those first few picks, definitely first round. Walker, he's interesting to me. There's a kind of a mixed bag on him amongst the fantasy community, but
Yeah,
a lot of people are he wasn't used a lot in the passing game, not only in Michigan State, but also going back to his days at Wake Forest. So a lot of people are kind of iffy on him going really high because you want a 3-down back there, and Brees certainly fits that description, but Walker's iffy there. But I think Walker, he's a good runner. He could definitely, I think he could do enough on first and second down to help you out.
yeah.
I think he's going to be pretty good. He tested out well and in the combine, and I think he's going to be pretty good.
Well, going into our 6th pick, we've had 2 managers make 5 picks. You want to tell us who the DBs take at number 6?
They've got Isaiah Spiller going at number 6 to the DBs, 3rd running back off the board.
I've seen mock drafts where he's number 1. I mean, I think it's really just going to come down to landing spots right now, Marky Mark. The perfect storm, as they say, unless you're CEH and you go to Kansas City and everybody loves you and you absolutely do absolutely nothing. So depending if that happens, I think Spiller, Walker, Hall, I mean, all these guys, these top 3 guys are going to be really good.
Yeah, Spiller. There was a lot of people excited about him because he's definitely a 3-down back. He can catch the ball and give you a lot of help in the receiving game, but he tested pretty poorly, and I don't know. I think they're trying to say he was injured a bit. In my opinion, if you're injured, then don't run a 40, man. Don't get out there and do something that's going to hurt you. Just let him guess. I think he might have hurt his stock a little bit by doing his pro day.
Yeah, running a 4.6 at it wasn't even the combine. It was at your school's pro day, where like it's almost accepted that it's kind of slanted towards your benefit. And he still ran a 4.6. So
yeah. I see him going here at 6. We're gonna call off a few names that I think maybe could go before him, probably because he did test poorly, and there might be some people that are a little put off by that. So, but he has been, for a while, kind of one of the consensus top 3 running backs in this
right.
draft. So
I've seen him as high as 1, which I think is kind of high for him, and I've seen him as low as 8 on some draft boards. So, but people are really liking his 3-down back qualities, like you were saying, and I really do think they're putting a lot of stock into him running so slowly.
Did you pick up the DB's roster. I'm trying to remember their running backs. I wonder if they, do they really need running back? Is this
Well, the thing
realistic for them?
is, in the first round, they get back-to-back picks, and they could use a little depth at the running back position. Not a whole lot. I mean, they do have 3 solid running backs, but CMC has been on the injury list quite a bit the last few years, and Gibson kind of had a really up and down. So if they were able to benefit from one of those top first-round picks and get a solid another Harris to add to their lineup, I think they would be smart to do so, especially if they're in the range for the top 3 running backs in a draft class that maybe has 4 top running backs in it.
Yeah. To me, looking at it, on paper here, it seems to be a little bit of a reach, but you're right. With them having back-to-back picks, maybe they do like Goofy up at 1-2 and FNG at 3-4. They get one of each, and the best ones available maybe. So
well, speaking of back-to-back draft picks, the second pick for the DBs is going to be Jameson Williams.
Yeah, number 7 overall. Yeah, number 7 overall in this mock. Yeah, and that's why I say I was looking at the list, and I'm thinking, okay, I probably pick him before I pick Spiller, but
well, I would almost I wouldn't argue it, but I might question it because Williams does have the injury that he suffered in the college playoffs. Everyone is saying that he'll be back, and he even says that he'll be back. If he comes back, I think he's going to be a steal. The fact that he's not in the top 2 wide receivers off the board in our rookie draft is kind of surprising, but I think I wouldn't be mad at them if they took him, but they definitely need a good wide receiver for their lineup because their lineup has been a lineup that has underperformed dramatically year in, year out. So they need some help, Allen Robinson is not the guy.
You heard it here first. They have dramatically underperformed. You're gonna love that, man. Evan's our most loyal listener, and he's gonna be like, "You son of a."
Hey, I have been on the DB fan wagon as much as another manager can be, year in and year out, and they've let me down. All right.
So maybe instead of the DBs and the DUs, the dramatically underperformers. No, that doesn't have a good ring to it. We'll stick with the DBs. So yeah, I would tell you, I like this pick for the DBs, Jameson Williams. I wouldn't like it for FNG as much because FNG, like you talked about, needs guys that he can put in there right away, and these guys don't. And so it'd be a steal of a pick at that area. I mean, and he probably will fall because I think guys, a lot of guys are looking for somebody they can get in there right away. But having 2 picks back to back, that would be an awesome pick at either one of those, I think, because you just stash him until he's ready to go, which he probably won't be. That it was a late injury, and it's unrealistic to think he's going to be out there in the beginning of the season. But he could be one of those guys that is coming on mid to late season that could help push you over that line to get into the playoffs. So
yeah, I mean, to be honest, if the DBs do take Williams, if I were the DBs, I would want him to sit as much as possible and come back when he's 100%. You don't want him to rush back, get injured, and then your first round pick is SOL year out,
Yeah. Whoever gets him, I think knows. Yeah. Talking about NFL, whoever gets him knows that he's not playing right away. He's going to be the future, not the immediate future though. He's going to be a little bit later future, if that makes any sense, which it probably doesn't. So let's go on to the next pick, which is FNG. Man, he's got a bunch of picks.
This is his third pick in the first round.
This is 4th pick.
Fourth pick in the first round.
Yeah, got 3, 4, 5, and here at number 8, he's going to go with Chris Olavey
from Ohio State.
Yes, wide receiver. So what do you think about him, Sean? Would you
I
like
think
to
it's
have?
interesting that the computer has him taking 3 wide receivers, shoring up that flex spot, and getting a really good running back. I think, I don't know, like, I think at 8 you got to take best player on the board. You know, you've already had 3 picks, and hopefully you've already picked guys that are going to immediately benefit your starting lineup. 8's got to be the best player on the board. Maybe that
Yeah.
is Olavey, maybe it isn't, but uh, it'll be interesting to see what FNG actually does. Or maybe he trades out and gets more picks in the second round and gets a guy. Who knows?
Yeah, he doesn't have a second rounder, so but I mean, shoot, if you got 4 in the first, why do you really need a second rounder?
Yeah, you don't
You
need a
know?
second rounder when you got 4 in the first round.
Yeah, I think he probably stays put and picks that pick. That's where I said he could use it. It could be a luxury pick for him if he wanted to reach at a different position. Um, so we don't know, and I couldn't fault him if he decided, hey, I want to take a stab at a quarterback or a tight end here. But I mean, if Olave's sitting there, man, it'd be hard to pass him up, wouldn't it? I mean, this guy's
Oh yeah,
he's known as a really good route runner, and that's important in the NFL. Probably needs to be a little more physical, but he's got enough wiggle to get around that part of it. So he can definitely be coached up with his route running ability to be a really good wide receiver in the league.
definitely. So for number 9, pick number 3 for Goofy Jace. It is a wide receiver from Georgia, George Pickens. What do you think of this, Marky Mark?
Yeah, Pickens, man, he's coming off injury himself, and probably dropped a lot because of that. He could be in that, he could be higher easily in this
Mm-hmm.
draft if he had played a full season at Georgia. But it's kind of, what have you done for me lately? And it's easy to forget a guy like this, but he could be he could have been up there at the top with some of those picks if he'd been healthy. So probably a good pick right there. Probably not a
Yeah,
bad pick at all.
I like Goofy doing 2 wide receivers and a running back because he needs more help at the wide receiver position with Laviska Shenault not living up to expectations and Alan Lazard being a kind of a dart throw in what they're going to do in Green Bay. Because I think the GM from Wake Forest, I think Green Bay needs to draft a wide receiver. I think a lot of people are going to think that. So, and Lazard is the first person I think gets dropped in target share and what have you. So, Goofy as a manager definitely needs to go 2 wide receivers, and those 2 wide receivers are going to be good for him.
Yeah, wouldn't be a bad pick at all there. I think that he would do well to get that. So he's he's done about 57 mock drafts, I think.
Ooh, I thought that would have been a little higher.
Yeah, it may be, and maybe I haven't seen him in a couple of weeks. I've been out of the facility at work for a couple of weeks now,
You're just
and
gonna
yeah,
go back to the facility, and Jason's gonna be walking out the front door having a perfect mind moment of, but if I pick this, this will happen. He's got
dude, he's
draft picks on the mind.
when we've talked about it, he's told me, if I do it this way, it happens this way, and if I do it that way, it happens the other way. And he's like, he knows everything, man. And then he's got his phone. He's like scrolling. Here's my drafts that I've done. So yeah, he's done a bunch. He might have hit triple digits by now. He very well may have. So
All right,
well, let's
Marky Mark, who do you take at the 10th pick in the NAO first round draft?
10th pick in the mock draft for the NAO has me taking Kyron Williams, running back from Notre Dame. So I'll let you start this one out. What do you think about Kyron Williams?
I don't like Notre Dame.
You don't like Notre Dame?
No, I don't like
Okay.
Notre Dame at all. I
So
think they cherry pick teams, and that benefits their players. Not to say that Williams isn't a good player, but they'll play like Alabama after Alabama had just played against say Florida, right? And they always go against these really top end teams right after they played somebody that was a hard game, So I've never cared for Notre Dame in college football because I think it's bullshit that they're not in their own conference and they just get to pick whoever the fuck they want to play. So that's me on my soapbox about Notre Dame. But I think Williams could be a good pick. Go ahead. Everybody learned a little bit too much about me and my hate for Notre Dame.
I was gonna say, you almost didn't say a word. I was gonna say you didn't say a thing about Kyron Williams, but you added in a little thing at the end there. So. Yeah, he kind of dropped like a rock. He was in that mix. Some people were kind of flip flopping him with Isaiah Spiller for the number 3. But then he came into the combine. Yeah, came into the combine undersized. They were exaggerating his size, as men will do. He was under 200 pounds.
Sleeper has him at 5'9", 195 pounds. So
that's what he came in at the combine. So there was, I think he was thought to be a little over 200 pounds in a 3-down back. And then he was really horrible at the combine. So
tell me how you really feel.
Well, it's funny. I mean, this dude, before the combine, there was a lot of hype on this guy. And, I was taking a look at it too. And he seemed to check off all the boxes. But then, like I said, he came in undersized. His 40 was, 4.7 something, I think. I mean, I think maybe it got adjusted to under 4.7, but it was in the high 4.6s. And just with the size and him not being as speedy as we thought he was, it's just, I don't know. I don't think this one will come true.
You heard it here first. Williams is not a guy Marky Mark is trying to pick up, and the Prince hates freaking Notre Dame. All right.
I think I may start the drop of Kyron Williams, and it'll probably keep on going for a little bit. So.
Well, if he falls to me at 14, I probably won't pick him.
There you go. So there you go. Yeah, look at there. Yeah, he's probably falling. I get the next pick.
Speaking of back-to-back picks, we're at 2:01, and Mick Jammer is on the clock again, and you take Christian Watson, wide receiver from North Dakota State.
Yeah. Now we're talking. This would be a good pick here. Yeah.
He's 6'5", 200 pounds. Talk about big body wide receiver, right?
Yeah, the height's good. That weight is, maybe still a little slight, but he'll put on some weight when he gets to the NFL. But I mean, he tested out as one of the best at the combine, man. He ran a really good 40. I think he was in the 4.3s, if I'm not mistaken. The burst activities he was really good in. And he also did well at the Senior Bowl. So this is a guy that's definitely, his stock has risen a whole bunch. I think he was on a lot of people's radar, and then after the Senior Bowl and the testing, he's jumped right up there. So
yeah, I think his stock is really benefited by the opportunities to show his skill set with the Combine, Pro Bowl, the Senior Bowl. A lot of players that are top end in the draft, they don't really go to the Senior Bowl, but he went there, he killed it. His stock is going up. It's benefiting him. I've heard that he might be mid first round in the NFL to late first round in the NFL, depending on how that goes. We all know that could get juicy in a second. So yeah, I think depending on the spot, Watson could be a wide receiver 1 for the team immediately. If not, he'll definitely be a wide receiver 2 going in.
I've seen a mock where he goes to Green Bay at 28, and I've heard
that's a spicy meatball right there.
Yeah, it is a spicy meatball. I know all about those spicy meatballs. Then there's talk about him going to Kansas City. If he goes to Kansas City, there's no way he's available here at number 11. He won't be there at number 10. He'll jump right up there if he goes to Kansas City.
I feel bad for any wide receiver getting drafted by Kansas City because they're everyone's going to just automatically expect him to be the next Tyreek Hill. And there's only one Tyreek Hill. Tyreek Hill is shocker. Heard it here first on the NAO show. Tyreek Hill is really fast.
Yeah.
Not everybody's that fast. And he uses that speed to be Tyreek Hill. You're not going to just go into the next draft and draft the next Tyreek Hill. Yeah, I feel bad for the wide receiver because he's going to have that kind of pressure on him.
Yeah, true. He's not Tyreek Hill. Tyreek is there's not many of him. You can comp to him all you want, but he's kind of a one-of-a-kind dude,
The comp is Tyreek Hill.
Yeah. Watson definitely fast, and he can play the boundary X, and he could be that field stretcher kind of guy, but in a different way than Tyreek. So he's not a one-for-one for Tyreek, but he certainly could be successful in that offense. And that's what I say, if he goes there, man, he'll never be here at 10-11. He'll be up there, DBs will probably hop all over it if he's still there at number 6,
Yeah, exactly.
So, yeah. All right, well, let's move on to pick number 12, and that would be Goofy Jace. Man,
fourth pick already.
Yeah.
Some teams haven't even picked yet.
Yeah. Here he is with number 4. Pick 12 overall. He gets Rachaad White, running back from Arizona State.
Oh, I love this pick for Goofy because, all right, so Goofy gets the top running back, the top wide receiver. He gets a pretty good wide receiver in Pickens, depending on his landing spot, could be really good. And then he gets a guy that is kind of on this bubble of depending on where he lands. If he lands at a pretty good spot and he's able to get the playing time pretty early, Rachaad White could definitely be somebody that is a diamond in the rough for him. For his 4th pick in the draft, and he's looking at flex capabilities for that pick, that's pretty darn good. Yeah.
Rachaad White has jumped up a lot here in recent weeks, I guess. He's a 3-down back. He can catch the ball, and he did pretty well there at Arizona State. I think him going here right at the beginning of the 2nd round is probably the target area for him. Maybe late 1st. There might be some guys that are in love with him enough to get him in the late 1st, but he's definitely a good early 2nd round pick, and that's kind of consistent with where he's going.
I think that's going to be the benefit of multiple picks to the same owner. Like I said earlier, I think people that would not have made it out of the 1st round are going to be dropping just because people are going to be going, well, I got my running back, I'm going to go wide receiver. Where if there was just straight managers, they might go running back, and then they come off the board real quick. So it's going to be interesting to see how this all plays out in real time.
Yeah, sure will.
With the 13th pick in the NAO mock draft, the DBs take the first quarterback from Liberty, Malik Willis. I think that they could use a quarterback. I think it might not happen like this. I don't think a quarterback happens this fast, especially if it's not Goofy Jace. Goofy's the guy that trades.
Let's go to the tape, pick up their roster, and let's see who they got. I know they got Prescott.
Well, they got Dak. They got Daniel Jones that they traded for, which they're high on. He's kind of a dart throw. He's not a bad dart throw at all. And they got Ryan Tannehill. So could they use another quarterback? Yeah, they might, but I don't think they use a pick this high on somebody.
Yeah.
Especially looking into their 23 draft capital right as it sits right now. If they don't take a quarterback, they have 3 first-round picks next year, and they could reach on one of those picks for a quarterback that is potentially way better.
Yeah. Well, if they were to pick him here, it would be to try to get that dual threat quarterback, and he's getting a lot of Jalen Hurts comps, which I think I sort of get because Hurts is known as a really good runner and an average.
But is Hurts a
passer.
good comp?
Yeah, I don't think it's the best comp because I think he's a lot better athlete than Hurts. I think Hurts runs because the passing just isn't there, whereas Willis is just such a good athlete. He can run, he can design runs, he can be kind of a Lamar Jackson type, you know.
The talking heads on the TV say that Jalen Hurts needs to win his job this year to see if the team's even going to keep him.
Yeah, I kind of get it because Willis he needs work at quarterback. We've seen the cannon arm, and like I said, great athlete. He can run, but his accuracy is a little bit off. He's oddly kind of better at the deep throws than he is the intermediate, and you got to be able to hit the intermediate throws, you know, the short and intermediate.
I've got a good comp for him.
All
after
right.
how you explained him. What about Josh Allen coming out of college? He had huge accuracy issues, couldn't hit the medium range very well, but he had a cannon for an arm.
Right. Yeah, I think with Josh Allen's improvement, you don't want to compare him to him.
Right. Josh Allen coming out of college, not Josh Allen right now.
Yeah. Maybe he can do like Josh did and improve on his accuracy and move up there. And then, yeah, he could be something. So, you know, with them having 3 picks in the first 13, maybe they do take that chance. You know, everybody wants that guy. You know, you get in these 2 quarterback leagues, and you know, you got about 6 guys up there that can run and throw, and those are the guys that go early, you know.
Yep.
Everybody wants that guy, so they could be trying to get that guy, and having a 3rd pick there might be a good time to do it.
All right, let's go to pick 14.
We'll see. Oh, just interesting note.
Oh, okay.
In those first 13 picks, there was only 4 managers, 4 teams, I should say, that made those picks. So that's pretty interesting, man.
That is crazy. That means 6 other managers did not even get a pick yet.
Sitting it out, you know, pick envy, you know.
I wanted him.
Yeah. All right.
Why didn't he listen to my trade talks? I was DMing him before the pick. I can't wait to hear it.
Yeah. All right, go ahead with your pick 14 because that's for you, man. Let's see what you get.
Well, the computer has me taking. Correct me if I'm wrong with the name. Shocker, the prince is wrong with pronouncing a name. Jahan Dotson.
You got it, man.
Jahan Dotson. Hey, let's go.
Wide receiver, Penn State.
I have a soft, as much as I hate Notre Dame, I have a very, very soft spot in my heart for Penn State wide receivers. You may know why, but I don't know. Like, I think at this pick, at pick 14, I'm just going to have to feel how the draft is falling to me. It could go either way. I'll tell you right now, I'm not going to take a tight end because I have 2 top 10 tight ends if you're ever looking for a tight end, NAO. But I'm not going to take a quarterback. But whatever position is probably the best that falls to me at this spot is what I'm going to take. I mean, Dotson, I would take him if he falls to me and he's the best wide receiver on the board. And somebody like Williams didn't fall to me or something, and everybody else is just losing their damn minds. I will draft Williams in a New York second and just go sit back down because I don't have a pick until the 5th round. But I'll take Watson.
Well, he's Dotson, you mean?
Dotson.
You got
That's what I said, right?
I thought you said Watson. Check the tape.
Maybe I did.
I think you said Watson. You got his name right the first time. That's all it matters. Yeah. Dotson, similar to a guy that was drafted out of Penn State recently that went to Denver, KJ Hamler, but I think he's better than KJ Hamler. I'm just afraid he could go the same way as KJ Hamler. It's going to be a lot about landing spot for him, I think.
Mhm.
I think he's a talented guy, but a little bit undersized and speedy undersized guys, man. It's just they're not all Tyreek Hill, they
Right.
so yeah. I'm not crazy about him. I'm not really targeting him. But if he fell a little further in the second round and I was picking there, I might take him there, because he definitely is a good athlete and
Right.
he could catch on. But like I said, I think he's better than Hamler, and we were all kind of crazy about Hamler and seeing his tape, when he got drafted there to Denver, and you see what happened with him. So I don't know, and it's not like Hamler can't still come on, but it's not looking great for him, especially with all the competition he has there in Denver. So that's why I look at Dotson.
He's never going to see the field.
Yeah, if he goes to a team that's already loaded up, then he's probably a wide receiver 4 or 5. But if he goes to a wide receiver needy team that can use his skills, then maybe he can do a little something there. All right, we'll move on to pick number 15, Goofy Jace. So we're back to the original 4 managers here again, man.
Original 4.
Top 15, only 5 managers picking in the top 15. Goofy Jace gets Skye Moore, wide receiver out of one of the Western Michigan. Okay, yeah, I was blanking there for a second. He's getting a lot of buzz. What do you think about Skye?
I think Skye Moore, if he lands in the right spot, he will never make it back to 15, because he's a guy, if he gets into the right position and has a clear path to being wide receiver 2 right off the bat, he's going to go mid to late first round. I think he has a lot of talent. Sleepers got him at 5'10", 195. So he's probably going to be a smaller wide receiver, obviously, but he's got a lot of skill and hands for days for Skye Moore.
Yeah. So kind of similar to Christian Watson, they're coming from smaller schools. So you want to see if they can do it against, the better competition.
Big boys.
Yeah. Better competition.
Everybody's good in the NFL.
Yeah. I don't think Skye Moore go. I don't think he went to the Senior Bowl like Watson did. I could be wrong about that. And maybe he was hurt or something. I'm blanking on that right now, but I don't put him in the same category as Christian Watson because he didn't test as well, and I think Christian Watson just he did a lot of things to raise his stock. Skye Moore is definitely, there's a lot of people that like him a lot. So if he hits the right spot in the NFL, then he could jump up there. But I don't know if he's a first round pick at this point. I think there's a couple of guys.
I think if he lands in the right position, he could be snagged in the late of the first round. But
because the NFL draft always does things where a guy we have in the top 10 now may drop out, and a guy that's just outside could pop in there.
Right.
So Skye Moore could fit that bill there. But at this point, just based on talent, I wouldn't have him quite up that high. I think this is a good spot for him, mid second round. I think that's a good spot for him. But yeah, we'll see what happens in the NFL draft. But
moving to pick 16, the DVs take the first tight end. They also took the first quarterback off the board. They're going to take the first tight end off the board.
They're innovators. They're underachievers. But what did you say? What was the word you used?
What was it? Drastically underachieving?
They're drastically underachieved, but they're innovators. So.
Trey McBride, 6'4", 260 pounds, out of Colorado State.
Yeah. I think he's a lot of in the fantasy community, he's their top tight end. Good blocker, which will keep you on the field. Good receiver. Basically, he was the offense at Colorado State. So
you don't say.
Yeah. But I would imagine he goes off the board first for tight ends. This is probably not a bad area for him. I'd maybe closer to the end of the second round, but DBs again with those multiple picks there, 4 of them in the first 16 picks.
Mhm.
it wouldn't be crazy for them to go for their favorite tight end, and I could see this being the guy, Trey McBride. I think he did really well at the Senior Bowl, and yeah, I think he's definitely he's the consensus one for a
Yeah,
reason.
there's a
You know,
clear disconnect between him and the rest of the pack, I think.
yeah, yeah. There's some guys in there that are really interesting, and I have heard some guys that aren't as high on McBride, and they want to bump up some of these other guys, but you just can't deny the, like you said, the size and the
Fucking
production.
6'4", 260
Yeah,
pounds.
yeah, the production, and gosh, I'd like to look up his numbers. I think he tested pretty well too, but I don't remember him off the top of my head. But yeah, I think there's a good reason for him being the consensus one there for tight end.
All right, let's move to Humpty's very first pick in the draft. What do you got there, Marky Mark?
He's going with James Cook, running back out of Georgia.
Now, correct me
Little
if I'm wrong.
brother.
He's a nephew,
No, he's the little brother of
little brother of the chef.
yeah. Are you really giving credit for his nicknames, for the Poop Crew's nicknames? Did we
No,
do a
it just sounds so idiotic. I needed to put it out there for the world. You know, I said it in normal conversation and it still sounded idiotic.
so Cook is the sous chef, right? Dalvin is the head chef, and James is the sous chef. There we go. We got it. Whoever picks James Cook, his nickname's got to be sous chef. Yeah.
Oh, dear
So,
Lord.
any thoughts on him? I got a few, but let me know what you think.
I think he's got potential. I mean, he's coming off the 5th running back off the board. I think there's a lot of running backs after Spiller that they could go late first round or middle second round. I mean, depending on where they land. Cook's got some good talent. Colorado was pretty good, but Georgia, they were more known for their defense, and that's what did it for them. But hey, who knows? What do you got?
Well, he was actually sixth in this sixth running back off the board in this mock draft.
Yes, 6. Sorry.
Yeah. So he is, he kind of timeshare with Zamir White there, and he's, I think, known more as a receiving back. I don't, maybe with name recognition, some people are high on him, but he's not his brother. He's definitely not his brother. He's a good receiving back, but I don't know if he's the 3-down back, and I don't know that he's going to have a big role in the NFL like his brother Dalvin does. But
you got to think that he has a leg up on everybody else with having a brother in the NFL. I mean, as soon as he got a agent, I'm sure he was having his brother being like, all right, this is what you need to eat. This is how you need to do this. This is how you need to do that. This is what they're looking for, like coaching them up, Hopefully there's some benefit to that.
No, and there will be. I think that's a very valid point. I just don't know that he is what he is, and
yeah, what's the tangibles to that,
Yeah, he definitely has an advantage with his brother in there, and giving him some tutoring or whatever it is. But I think he pretty well. I don't know. He's a kind of a Tariq Cohen type. I think that could have some really big days catching the ball out of the backfield. But I think he might be a little hit or miss like Cohen was. And
the first person that comes to my mind is Nyheim Hines.
Yeah, right. But I think Hines is a little bigger, a little more of a runner. He's a track guy. Cook, I think, is just really just seems to, and they use him a lot as third down and receiving back there. So I think that's what he's going to do in the NFL. So I'm dubious that he'll be a 3-down back.
Well, moving on to the other guy. At pick 18, he takes the second quarterback off the board. It is Matt Corral from
Yeah.
Ole Miss.
Yeah.
Does that guy need a quarterback? Let me check. Let me hear what you got there, Marky Mark.
On Corral.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that is a little bit of a surprise to me. So Sleeper has him as the number 2 quarterback, and I just don't think he's the number 2 quarterback. I think I think this is the one pick out of the whole mock that I just would bet $100 won't happen.
I would double down on that bet and say $300 would never happen because.
Don't you mean triple down? I said 100.
I was looking at you, waiting for you to say something because I was like, the other guy has Herbert as his starting quarterback. So he'll start every week that he is not on bye. And then he has Trey Lance and Jimmy G. So whoever is actually playing quarterback will just be the throw-in for the bye week. Why does he need another quarterback?
Yeah, doesn't he have Davis Mills on his taxi squad?
He does.
Old man's got a good memory. I ain't even looking at it. So,
Ooh.
But I remembered he had Davis Mills, and he did all right too. So, yeah, why you got to take a big ass start throw for Matt Corral in the second round? So, yeah, I mean, we'll talk about the 2 guys going after him that I think he would probably pick either one of
We're
those.
on the same page with that one.
Before. And hey, say he was going to go quarterback. I just don't think Corral's the guy there. I think it's
Pickett.
I'd definitely say Pickett. Probably the most pro-ready quarterback. Sam Howell has been mentioned up there. Even Desmond Ridder is starting to get a little bit of, he tested out well. He's fast anyway. He's not Desmond Ritter's not known as a running quarterback, but look what he did with Cincinnati, and he's got those intangibles, So yeah, Corral to me, especially Corral, he got injured too. So yeah, I just don't see him there. Maybe other people love him more than I do. So
the next pick is a McJammer pick at 19 is Zamir White.
Yeah.
I like this pick. He was the 1 and 2 down back in Georgia.
Yeah.
The yin to Cook's yang, So
yeah.
I would have taken White over Corral in a second, but yeah, what do you think?
Yeah, White could be a little higher up the list. He's battled knee injuries over his career, so I think there's a lot of people that are a little bit scared about that. But he definitely, yeah, he was the other guy there in Georgia that was the more of the workhorse type anyway. Mm-hmm. I don't know off the top of my head what he's done in the receiving game. I think from what I've heard, it's not that he can't do it. It's just that Cook was so good at it that they really didn't need to use him a lot there. So that's kind of the question that needs to be answered for Zamir White is can he be a receiving back?
He has pretty impressive measurables. He's 6 foot, 215 pounds as a running back.
Yeah.
I don't know what he ran in his 40 or if he even did a 40, but that's a pretty big back. If he knows how to lower his shoulder and run through a guy or two, he'll be that guy that gets the extra few yards because he's falling forward, as they say.
Yeah. If it wasn't for, I think he's injured both of his knees, if I'm not mistaken. So that's what's got him down here. I think if not for the knee injuries, he might have been, further up this list, definitely. So yeah, he's one to watch out for there in the second round. He might be a good guy to pick up if there's nobody else around that you're in love with and he's there. He might be a good pick in that part of the draft.
All right, who do we got to finish up the second round?
We've got A-Bomb
with his very first pick.
Finally getting the pick at number 20, going with David Bell, receiver out of Purdue University.
6'2", 205 on the sleeper right now. A-Bomb could definitely use some youth infusion into his older lineup. I mean, the guy won the freaking championship with Barrios. I could barely even get it out. Barrios.
Barrios and Burkhead, the killer bees.
On his
A-Bomb.
lineup, and he won the championship. So who the hell am I to say? He's got a championship with his name on it. So
that's right. That's right.
I think a wide receiver would be real nice at that position. But knowing A-Bomb, he's probably going to take the best quality player, the most bang for his buck, or maybe even trade out. Who knows?
Bell is an interesting guy because I think a lot of people would love to have him higher up in the draft, NFL draft, and but he just I don't know. There's question marks about him. He's got decent size and good hands and good production, but there's other things that I have not done a lot of study on David Bell. I'm not really terribly interested in him. But it's funny that if you listen to enough of the people in the community, there's people that love him and they've seen him do some things, and then there's other people that look at the measurables, the analytics, and they're like, yeah, I don't know. So I think Mike was kind of high on him, wasn't he?
Well, who knows?
Yeah, probably. Well, Mike's not picking, so we don't have to worry about it. Bell will probably be gone before Mike gets a pick. So sorry, Tank Top, if I gave away anything, but I think I remember him in chat saying he liked David Bell. So maybe it was a smoke screen. I don't know. But yeah, I wish I had more to say about David Bell, but I'm not really excited about him, and I think that's probably about where he would go is the end of the second, beginning of the third round. It might not be a bad pick there, but I think there's some question marks on him at this point.
Well, that's this week's show. We figured out that 4 managers are going to pick 17 billion picks before I even get to take a pick off the board. And you found out that we're the champion. Mark, maybe next year you'll play your best player. Until then, you suck.